Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we want to talk about frost seeding. Now it's perfect time of the year for that. Some of you folks down south might have had your seed in the ground already, but this is kind of that mid-March seems to be the wheelhouse for frost seeding in the Midwest and all the way down into maybe Tennessee. But anyway, we want to talk about frost seeding. Just a couple topics we want to cover tonight. We want to talk about seeding rates, plot prep, some things to avoid when you're buying seed. And we want to take you out to one of our properties. We actually have a strategy with frost seeding, what we're doing with some clover chicory and what we're doing with just clover. It's a little early for me to be frost seeding it. I kind of wait till the end of March because I do live in Michigan. Yes, it was 50 degrees here. There's no snow on the ground. But like I said, it is Michigan, and I could have a foot of snow on the ground May 1st. So we kind of like to wait till about the end of March for frost seeding here in Michigan. But it's just, there's a lot of folks in the country right now, so we really want to talk about frost seeding. So, frost seeding, what is it? I think we've talked enough about it. You've read and seen enough about it. You kind of understand what it is. It's getting seed, but it's certain seeds that you can frost seed. Clovers, switchgrass. We're not frost seeding buckwheat. We're not frost seeding rye. We're not frost seeding brassicas. We're only doing clovers, and we're not talking about switchgrass tonight, but that's another option, but that's another video. So let's talk about frost seeding clovers. Now, the seeding rates, we like to tell folks that are frost seeding, a lot of times folks want to freshen up a clover plot. They've got clover growing. They've got, it's kind of, it's kind of running out of steam. We got some bare spots in it. They're calling us for help. We like to recommend anywhere from 4 to 6 pounds an acre if you're freshening up a current clover plot. But I'll try to get into detail with them. There's certain varieties, certain blends from other companies. I know if they plant this, we're going to have to bump that rate up 6 to 8 pounds per acre because a lot of those blends have annual clovers in it. We'll get into that discussion later that don't come back. But typically, if it's a Northwoods product and they just want to freshen it up, it's getting older, 5, 6, 7 years old, we're probably looking at that 4 to 6 pound an acre frost seeding. Now, that varies from a brand new plot. Let's say they've got something like our Fall Forage blend or maybe some cereal rye or oats where the plot is prepped. Okay, what I mean by that is there was a food plot there last year, cereal grains especially. That's some of the favorite conditions for me to frost seed in is if there was cereal grains there last year because we can take care of that with mowing this year if it's rye or wheat or with clethodim. But anyway, if it's a brand new, there's no clover in it, I go at minimum 8, maybe even up to 10 if they've got chance of predation from birds, small mammals. You might have to bump that rate up to 10 and count on 20% seed loss. So 8 to 10 if it's a brand new clover plot. Now, when I mean a clean plot, that's just what I was referring to. Clean plot being I really like to seed into cereal grains. Or let's say you're taking some ground back from a farmer. He had soybeans there last year. That's a clean plot, okay? We don't have anything growing. Now, we talked a lot of people out of this year taking a fescue field, an old horse pasture, a lot of weeds, a lot of grasses, something you're going to have to fight through the course of the year. And it's that clover is going to struggle. You got that massive root system underneath all that fescue or that brome, that pasture. The ground might be compacted. You might want to take and wait till spring. You might have to do some tillage. Oh, I said the T word. I'm sorry. If we do that, I like using oats as a nurse crop. We'll get into that later on, but I don't recommend, here at Northwoods, we do not recommend seeding into weeds, into grass, into anything like that where you're going to have to start fighting weeds from green up, okay? Those little clovers need a lot of sunlight. They don't want any competition from weeds, grasses, broadleaves. I'd rather you take the time, get that killed. We can work the ground up in the spring, get some oats down, get the clover down again. We'll talk about spring seeding in another video. But if you miss the opportunity to frost seed, don't panic. You got a lot of time to plant yet. Spring rains and a prepped plot are a great way to establish clover if you've missed your opportunity to frost seed. Clean seed, good seed. This is, I've talked about this so much, but you know what, folks? I still have those conversations on a daily basis right now with folks that are looking to buy clover. Like I said before, when we have to freshen up clover plots, a lot of times there's 3 or 4 products I've become quite aware of that use annual clovers. They use a lot of seed coating. And if you look at our clover blends, you look at our clover chicory blends, there's zero seed coating. You're going to get almost 90 to 95% germination with 4 pounds of seed, 8 pounds of seed per acre. If you go and buy a coated seed, these are facts, folks. This is not my opinion. If you go and buy a coated seed, a 4-pound bag, you're only getting 2.85 pounds of actual seed. But what's worse, and I've seen it right on their bags, they're going to put in a cheap annual clover like Berseem. We talked about that in other videos. Berseem coated clover is the cheapest seed I could buy right now for clover. These bags are full of 33 to 35% coating on top of 33 to 35% annual clovers like Berseem, like some Blonzas, some arrowleaf clover. Folks, some of these Berseems, and again, if you don't believe me, Google it, look it up. Some of these Berseems can't even tolerate hard frost, but they want you to frost seed it. That makes no sense. Okay, so when folks say I need to freshen up my plot because I planted Big Buck Seed Company, ABC Seed Company, I know exactly why they have to freshen it up, because everything they bought, they're only getting 33% perennial clovers, where with Northwoods, you're getting 100% perennial clovers. These are going to be a multi-year clover. We do not have any annuals. We do not have any coating. We don't have any reds that are biannuals. These are all perennial clovers, and that's what you want for these long-standing clover plots. Perennials, whites, these are what you're looking for. You're not looking for coated seed. We don't play that game here at Northwoods Whitetails. I ran an experiment. I thought this was kind of funny. And Brad Harper and I talked about this on the video, I think it was 2 videos back. I actually took some snow and put it on a coated seed. It was blue coating. I put it on a coated seed and let it sit for a few hours in our shop here on top of some paper towel, simulating if you went out and frost seeded and you got snow and then it warmed up. Like today it was 50 degrees, yesterday it was 60 degrees, and then it's going to drop into the 30s, and then we're supposed to get some snow next week, and then it's supposed to be up in the 70s. This is a simulation of that. So when that snow melted, take a look at this picture. It's crazy. Half the seed coating's gone. So now imagine you still are going to get rain on top of that seed coating. You're still going to get maybe another snow, but a bunch of spring rains. Folks, understand this. When you drop that seed on the ground, it's not germinating. Let's just use here in Michigan. I can drop it here in March. I'm still not going to see that seed germinate till probably earliest mid to late, probably late April, early May, depending on how fast that sun warms at. So that seed coating has to sit out in those elements, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 rainstorms, snowstorms. Where do you think that seed coating is going to go? It's going to be gone. So you spend all that money on that seed coating and it's gone. Look at the paper towel. Is that what you want to spend your money on? I don't. Just something to think about, folks. There's a lot of people out there right now trying to get your hard-earned money. We just like to be honest with people. You want 4 pounds of clover, you're going to get 4 pounds of clover. That's what I mean by good seed. The other thing to keep in mind is not all clovers are created equal. And what I mean by that is some clovers will work in sandy soil, some clovers won't. Like our white ladinos, we've talked a lot of people right now out of buying our white ladino clover blend. Instead, what we do is have them use some red clover with a combination of foraged chicory. You know, you got low organic matter. You've got maybe a little bit lower pH, or we'll use our seclusion, okay? Those are things that we've got probably 5 different clover blends that you can work with, because not all clovers are created equal, not all land's the same. And heck, here in Michigan alone, you can go from the top of the state to the bottom of the state, and it's a completely different climate. It's a completely different soil structure. It's a completely different situation. And not all clovers are going to work in the northern half of the state that will work in the southern half of the state. It's no different all across the country. So these companies that think one size fits all and they're going to stuff all these clovers in there, that might not work on your property. If you have any questions or you're wondering what will work on your property, if you go to northwoodswhitetails.com, you click on that button in the lower left-hand corner, you can get a hold of us. We'll do our best. We're really busy right now. We're trying to get to all these messages throughout the day. I know I've missed a couple. I apologize. But we're trying to get through these messages. We can help you with your clover selection. So right now what I want to do is take you up to one of our properties Like I said, I really don't like to frost seed here in Michigan until the end of March, but we had an opportunity. We wanted to get this video out before the end of March, but we went up there, we had a little bit of sun, we had some clear food plots, and we wanted to do a little frost seeding. Plus, we also want to talk a little bit about strategy. Okay, so we're out on one of our food plots right now. We're going to overseed clover. Now, there's a strategy here. Yes, we're talking about frost seeding, but we're also going to talk about strategy. You can see about 80 yards to our east, there's one of our 906 box blinds that can be used with a bow or a rifle. And what we're going to try to do is now I'm looking to the south, and our massive food plot system is about 60 yards to the south. And what this is right here is this is a spot where they like to stage up. We see more deer back here because as I look north and west, that's where all our bedding been recently logged. It's really starting to come in with autumn olive, young popple, young balsams, and in 3 to 5 years, this is just going to explode with growth. But anyway, so what we're looking at doing for the strategy here is I'm going to put our clover blend right up in here that they really like. It's great, it's palatable, 4 varieties of white clovers. But as we get closer, maybe you can see, let's see if I point to it, that big balsam about 60 yards from me, that's a 30-yard archery shot. And what we're going to try to do is there's a corridor cut through this brush. We're going to hinge cut a bunch of trees and give the deer the option right over my right shoulder to the major food plot, or on the other side of that balsam tree, which is going to be about a 28-yard archery shot. We're going to have a licking branch and stuff there. But what we're going to do down there is we're going to put heavy chicory, seclusion, 360, because we want a majority of the deer in that late October, early November time frame. We want them to hit that chicory down there. So we're going to have good food up here. There's going to be clover, but down there we're going to put heavy chicory, because if we have them in that chicory plot, it becomes so attractive. I want them down there in range of archery equipment. So that's our strategy. So now what we're doing is we're using the Earthway bag seeder. Okay, so what I have is about 3/4 of a pound of clover blend. I'm going to walk this way. I'm walking east and west until I get to that tree, and then I'm going to start coming back north and south, and that's going to give us really good coverage. Now I've got about 1/4 of a pound of seclusion 360. We're going to overseed that little plot just over the hump there within archery range of that hunting blind. Now, one of the things you can see, now I'm looking south right here, and you can see the snow along the edge here. I don't like frost seeding into snow because of turkeys, just predation, but you know, today we wanted to come up and do the video, and that snow hasn't melted. We had a really good melt this week. We've got warm temperatures coming, actually perfect conditions for frost seeding. We got freezing at night, thawing during the day, but this ground hasn't even thought about thawing yet. The snow just left, and I'm going to assume, you know, here in Michigan, we're going to still get some snow mid to late March, April, and it's going to fill this plot back up, but we've got conditions that are great for frost seeding. So we're going to get this done. Strategy, a lot of clover blend up here. Seclusion 360 closer to the blind. So what we're going to do is put our clover blend in. We're going to put the setting at 1. And again, I'm going to walk east and west. And then I'm going to come back this way, north and south, so we get an even distribution. All right, I've got my setting at 1. I'm actually doing this opposite. I'm going north and south first. I've got about a 6-foot pattern. I can just see the seed, but it's coming out on this really nice. You can see right here, I'm not sure if you can see in the camera, I've got my fingers down here. I can feel seed hitting. So I've got about a 6-foot pattern. You can see the rotation on the cedar. This seems to work really nice. Okay, coming back, same thing. I've got the cedar at 1. You can see my fingers down here. I'm feeling seed bump off my fingers, so I know it's coming out. And now we're going to do the other half of that 3/4 pound of clover. I'm running east and west. So this is the absolute best way I've found to get really good distribution of the seed. Again, we've got a 6-foot pattern. It looks like 3 on each side of the cedar. I can see it against the snow. I'm not a big fan of putting seed down on top of the snow, but there's not a lot of turkeys up here, so it's not a bad deal. Man, I cannot wait to see what that plot turns out to be. June, July, it's going to be a really beautiful food plot. Can't wait. October, a nice cold front to sit back there in that secluded food plot. That was the actual blind that we shot that big buck out of that we talked about back in November, that 140-inch deer. I cannot wait to sit there again. I love that. But anyway, hopefully this helped, folks. Again, keep an eye on your rates. brand new food plot, you're looking at 8 to 10. If you're freshening up a food plot, 4 to 6, you might have to bump that up a little bit. Make sure you got a clean food plot. We really don't like to see people seeding into fescue, cow pastures, or anything like that. Do your due diligence in the spring, get rid of all those weeds. And definitely, folks, read those seed tags, get good seed, read the labels, understand seed coating. It's not necessary. We've not used it. We sell plenty of food plot seed. Like I said, our Clover Blend Plus Chicory is our #1 seller right now. We cannot keep that on the shelf. We sold more of that already this year than I think probably just about all of last year. It's a phenomenal blend. The ratios are right. The ratios are perfect. Great seed blend, Clover Blend Plus Chicory. If you're looking for Clover, northwoodswhitetails.com. Check out our clovers in our clover section. If you have questions on your clovers, go ahead and get a hold of us at northwoodswhitetails.com. Check out that icon in the lower left-hand corner. You can get a hold of us. We've been getting hundreds of messages. I'm trying to keep up. We're doing our best here. I know I might miss a couple, and I apologize. Just keep reaching out to us. We'll try to get those questions answered. northwoodswhitetails.com for your clovers. We got your answers. If you've got if you've got questions, by all means, ask them in the comments below. We'll try to answer them here. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Again, I apologize. It's been a few weeks between videos, but we're so busy right now. I just don't have time to do them. So thanks for watching, folks. Hopefully this helps with your frost seeding, and we'll see you in a few days.